The night the third baby was born, the rain did not fall. It waited. Inside the small hospital on the edge of town, the nurse stepped out slowly. "It's a girl," she said. Silence. Not the soft silence of relief, not the loud silence of celebration, the kind that cuts. Ayo stood frozen in the corridor, his jaw tightened, his hands balled into fists. "A girl?" he asked, though he had heard clearly. Yes, healthy and strong. He did not enter the room. Inside, Adoni lay exhausted but smiling faintly at the tiny bundle on her chest. Two little girls are already waiting at home for their baby sister. She had prayed for safe delivery, not for a particular gender. She did not know that outside that door, something had just broken. By morning, Ayo had packed his small bag. "You've given me 3 daughters," he said flatly, not looking at the newborn. "3. What will I show the world? Who carries my name?" Aduni's lips trembled. "They are your children. They are girls." That was the day he left. No shouting, no dramatic goodbye, just the sound of a gate closing. And the rain finally fell. At first, the neighbors whispered, maybe if she had given him a son. Men need heirs. 3 girls? Aduni heard everything, but she did not respond. Instead, she worked. By day, she washed clothes for wealthy families. By evening, she sold akara at the junction. At night, she stitched uniforms under a dim lantern. When her fingers bled, she wrapped them and continued. Her daughters grew up watching her back bend but never break. Temi, the eldest, was quiet but observant. She loved the sky. She would lie outside at night, staring at planes blinking across the darkness. "I will fly one," she once told her mother. Aduni smiled. "Then fly." Nora, the second, loved books. She read old, torn textbooks people threw away. She practiced bandaging her dolls and announced diagnoses in serious tones. "I will save lives." "Then save them," Adoni would whisper. The last child, little Leela, the one whose birth had shattered their home, had a different fire. She asked questions that made adults uncomfortable. Why are leaders always men? Who decides what girls can't do? Why did daddy leave? Adoni would hold her face gently. Some people walk away because they cannot see far. You will see far. Years passed, and the town watched. Temi earned a scholarship. She left for aviation school. The same neighbors who once pated Aduni began to greet her differently. "Your daughter is in flying school?" "Yes," Aduni would reply calmly. Nora graduated top of her class in medical school. Her name appeared in newspapers, best graduating student. People brought the papers to Aduni's stall. "Is this your daughter?" "Yes."
Leela was the storm no one saw coming. She debated fiercely in school competitions. She organized girls in her university to demand equal opportunities. She spoke with a confidence that made older men uneasy. Then one day, her speech went viral. "We are not lesser because we are female," she said into the microphone. "We are not accidents. We are not disappointments. We are possibilities." The country listened. The first time Ayo saw Temi in uniform, he nearly dropped his phone. Captain Temi Ayo. Her surname is still his. She stood tall beside an aircraft, smiling. The comments under the post were endless. Her father must be so proud. He read them over and over. Pride. He had not paid a single school fee. When Nora's hospital named her head of surgery at such a young age, journalists began asking about her family background. And then came Leela. Years later, during a historic election season, her name rose like a flame. Leela Ayo. Young, bold, relentless. She spoke of reform, education, gender equality, economic revival. She spoke with the calm fire of someone who had lived struggle. The night results were announced. The country held its breath. The first female president of our nation. It was her. Aduni fell to her knees in tears. The girl who had once asked why leaders were always men had become the answer. That was when Ayo returned. Older now, softer in the face, regret sitting heavily in his eyes.
He came to Aduni's house one evening, holding a small bag of fruits, as if that could bridge decades. "I want to see my daughters," he said quietly. Aduni studied with him. "They are not little girls anymore." "I know. I was foolish." Silence. "I am their father." She held his gaze. "A father is more than blood," he swallowed. Still, she allowed him in, not for him, for closure. The first meeting was arranged privately. Temi arrived first, uniform crisp. She greeted him politely. "Good evening, sir." "Sir." The word hit harder than an insult.
Nora came next, calm, professional. "How have you been?" "Not Daddy." Lila arrived last. The president walked into the room, not as a child seeking validation, but as a woman who had built herself without him. He stood, trembling. "My daughters." Lila's eyes were steady. "You left." "I was wrong." "Yes," she replied gently. "You were." He tried to explain culture, pressure, expectations. He spoke of needing his son, of feeling mocked by friends. Temi listened silently. Nora's face remained unreadable. Finally, Lila spoke. "Do you know what hurt the most?" He shook his head. "It wasn't that you wanted his son," she said. "It was that you thought we were not enough." The room fell into thick silence. Tears slid down his face. "I am proud of you," he whispered. Temi gave a small smile. "We are proud of our mother." Nora nodded. She never left. And Lila finished softly. "We learned from the parents who stayed. They were not cruel. They were not shouting. They were simply complete without him." Over time, Ayo tried. He sent messages. He attended public events. He waited after the ceremonies. But access is not a door you force open years later. They treated him with respect, but not intimacy. He was a visitor in lives he once abandoned. And eventually he stopped trying. Not because he did not care, but because he finally understood. You cannot plant absence and harvest relationships. Years later, during President Lila's inauguration anniversary speech, she paused unexpectedly. "I stand here today," she said to the roaring crowd, "because one woman refused to believe that daughters are disappointments." The cameras zoomed to Aduni in the front row. "We are not blessings only when we are sons," Lila continued. "We are blessings because we are children. Raise us well, and we will raise nations." The crowd rose to their feet. Somewhere in the back, unnoticed, Ayo clapped too. His eyes filled, not with bitterness this time, but with understanding. And in that small town, where whispers once questioned the worth of girls, parents began to hold their daughters a little tighter. Because 3 girls, once called disappointments, had become a pilot, a doctor, and the first female president of their country. And the world finally understood. Both male and female children are blessings. What determines greatness is not gender. It is nurturing, opportunity, and love. A child is not a blessing because of gender. A child is a blessing because of possibility.